I'm Sida, and this is Rajeev. We are the iOS developers from Tikkie. And today we also wanted to give you like a short, small presentation about our journey of the app and how it grew from being the app to like its own entire ecosystem that probably not all of you even know about. And also we want to talk a bit about the challenge that we experienced while developing the app and while growing on our way from 0 users to 4 million in another 3 years. And yeah, what challenges it gave to us. And then what possibility arose from that challenge. So yeah. Okay. So let me start like with the very basic where the idea came from to make Tikkie. So what happened is we had Sander and his friend Eric, and we had a problem there that Sander had to pay Eric. And in the typical way, it was that when probably a lot of you have done this payments where the friend would give you his IBAN and say what you need to pay for, and then you would need to go to your banking app, type it all in, and then send it. And what we found out while we were like researching it was that more than 50% of the people had to wait for more than 1 week for this to happen and get the money back, and then more than 20% had to wait more than 1 month to do it. So we saw a problem there, and yeah, more than 60% would even forget to entirely to pay back. And yeah, most of the issues were related to remembering the IBANs and having typed them out. And so there arose our main concern, how to get Eric to pay easily and without having to go through the typing in the IBANs and without having the user who wants to get paid back to provide all the information every time. Yeah.
So this is the problem that we are trying to solve, basically. And we tried to come up with a solution inside the bank to solve this. And there's so much, of course, that we wanted to do, and you can't really do everything that you want at the beginning, and you have to build something really small to test out the market and see if what you build actually works. So that's the app that you know right now. But what we really started was just the option to send the payment request, and that too only just to share it via WhatsApp. And we wanted to make that and put it out there and see if this works. And if that did, then we would add all these other features that we wanted to. And it actually did. When we put it out, I think on the first day, we got like 2,000 downloads, and then it kept on growing exponentially from there and to the millions or something that we have right now. And yeah. So those were the only first 2 features. And it's actually crazy to think because 7-8 months back, we didn't even have the option of sharing Tikkie via any other option. The only option was to share via WhatsApp. And now there are all these other features that are there inside the app that have sort of, you want to go back on the slide? Yeah. Yeah. So now there are all these other features that we added, like you can make your own GIFs inside the app, you can add multiple IBANs, there's Siri integration, there's a business environment, which we'll talk about later. And of course, you can share via different platforms as well. You can resend the request, there are push notifications, and none of this was there before. And now we can go to the next slide. And that's basically the basic infrastructure of what the app was like. So on the right side, there's a Tikkie app, which you all know, and there's a backend, of course, which serves the app, and there's a landing page, which is basically a website where the user can make the payment. And these are the different components and the services that are provided by each of these components. And apart from that, there is the whole ideal system which we use to make the payments, which also interfaces with other banking apps. Or if you don't have the banking app, then the website, or of course, internal ABN AMRO systems as well.
Yes, and so it was all very hunky-dory with this setup in the very beginning, until we realized we started encountering certain issues, which led us to the realization that we need to migrate our backends. So how was the initial setup? Was that we had a hosting provider, and we bought servers from them. So we had to purchase the servers and the space beforehand. And while we were under 1 million user, it was still okay. But we noticed that as we had like a very steep growth in the user database, in the users, and a very steep growth in the payments. T servers, like all of a sudden, start running out of the capacity pretty quickly, and it was quite difficult for us to keep up with everything. And also on holidays, we would sometimes experience spikes where the payload would suddenly, like on Christmas, would go 10 times our usually expected payloads. And yeah, app would just crash, and users could not use our product because, well, service would go down. So there, after some discussions, we decided to go with AWS solution because of its flexibility. So what was the main difference was that with our hosting provider, we had to buy all the servers up front and all this like unpredictability that it created. With AWS, we had the pay-per-use solution. So what it created is that we would use the storage and their services only per what we use. So if we had a peak load, then the AWS provides us with the more capacity that we pay for. And then if it goes down, then, well, it reduces it. Yes. And that was our challenge and our solution. And with this solution, we actually realized that now we can go very easily beyond of what is just app, because also with the use of AWS, we could move our backend to use the microservices and have it to be reused. So from there on, all sorts of business ideas started to grow, where it's made into a new ecosystem.
So like Sida just said, now we suddenly had all this great capacity that we could use, and we had no problems with app stability and stuff like that. So before we did all this, there were all these fires happening on the backend that we had to put out. I think there might actually have been a real fire, I don't know. So now we had this capacity, and there were all these other projects that we wanted to build. We have all these millions of users, but we wanted to give other people the opportunity to also leverage our users and use it within their businesses. So over here on the left side, you see the app as you know it, but there are all these other propositions on the side, which I don't know how many of you all have heard of. So there's a Tikkie API, and there's a fast checkout. And what you see over here is a business app, which we spoke about before. So if you use any of those propositions, you can log in inside the Tikkie app, the current app. This is not a separate app. So you can log in inside the app as a business user and see all your Tikkies in that environment. And there's a portal as well, which serves you. So what is this fast checkout thing that I just mentioned? So basically, let's say you use a web shop, and the problem that most web shops have is that people go on the web shop, they see some products that they like, they want to buy them. Then they reach to that end, to the part where they have to create an account and enter their details and all of this stuff, which really pushes a lot of people away. And then they close their browsers and never come back again. So what you can do is that Tikkie offers a plugin, which you can install in your web shop. And if you have this plugin in your web shop, so Tikkie is an alternate payment method now, other than creating an account and everything else. So if you select Tikkie as a payment method, and users have already submitted their information to Tikkie, they can use this, and they won't have to enter the information everywhere. You get all the address and other details that the users have provided, and you can use this as a quick checkout method. Yeah, so now here you say that, okay, we have the fast checkout, which is an awesome solution. What is the Tikkie API? Why do we need this? So the fast checkout API is really for, you have orders, you want to pay them. It's like one-time payment orders. But let's say you're you're selling something at a physical store. For example, you're selling flowers, you're selling cakes at a local bakery or something. And you don't want to set up your entire payment mechanism over there. You don't want to keep payment machines over there and everything. You can use a Tikkie API to make Tikkies for your products, which users can just pay. So for example, I had gone to this gym the other day, and there was a vending machine. And the only option to pay over there was using Tikkies. So next to every item, you had tickies for that item, and the way to buy that was just scan the tickie, make the payment, and you would receive the item. So there was no payment using card, no payment using cash, and so that was a very interesting solution that I saw. And yeah, those are the possibilities using the Tikkie API. So again, this is the complete picture that we spoke about before. That's the app on the left-hand side, and it's really amazing to see how we started with just an app with those two features of sharing via WhatsApp and creating payment requests, and now having this entire ecosystem which can be used. And yeah.
So this is basically our journey that we had from how we came from 3 years ago up till what we're doing now today. And if you also want to know just like more what we're doing in the team and how we're doing these things, you can also just talk after the presentations. And I think now we're gonna have the another ABN presentation. Yes.
Questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
No?
Hi. You mentioned that on a web shop you can simply pay with a Tikkie, and then the web shop gets all my address details. But I can't remember that I ever put all my address details into Tikkie.
So the way the web shop works is that let's say you have a pay by Tikkie option over there, and you haven't. So right now in the app, of course, we don't ask you for your address or anything. This doesn't happen inside the app. This is purely a web-based system. So you click on pay by Tikkie, you enter your phone number, you get a push notification or a SMS something, and you open it inside your phone, and you enter your details there once, your address and your email address and your actual delivery address, because this is a web shop. It has to send you stuff, so you need a delivery address. And then that is stored. Then you don't need to enter that anywhere else. Now let's say you go to another web shop, and you have the pay by Tikkie option over there again. You just tap on that, and all the details that you have given us go to that web shop directly. So the first time, of course, you have to enter these details, and then that's used automatically after that.
Was there another question? Yes.
I was curious if you look at Venmo or WeChat as opportunities to develop a platform. Do you have other examples that you followed in the path of developing Tikkie?
We have a lot of ambitions for the app, of course, and we hope that you will hear about them as soon as possible.
Yes.
So why you use platform? So if I scan the Tikkie barcode, then you redirect me to web page, or why not to redirect me to my banking app?
So we don't direct you to a banking app because Tikkie doesn't really depend on what bank you use. So we direct you to the web page, and at that time we really send you to Ideal, which is a universal payment provider. Like at that time, we don't want you to force you to use ABN or ING or Rabobank or anything else. So you can select which bank you want over there, and that's the reason we send you to a web page or not even to the Tikkie app itself, because we don't really want to limit users. This is really a universal payment solution.
No, I understand that. I understand in general, but I have my banking app, so you can actually just redirect me to banking app.
Yeah, but let's say you have multiple banking apps, and I have.
They know my banking app because I entered my IBAN there, yes? Yes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, but I have both the ING and the ABN account and app on my phone, and I use both of them interchangeably. So,
Any more questions? Otherwise, the team will be here, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be here, not running away. So.
Yeah.
We'll have a few minutes in order to change the mic, I think, and then we'll continue with the next talk from Philippe about using Teams.
Thank you.